And this next person, they've not done Campfire stories before. A newfound friend, matter of fact. Give a warm welcome for Amber Wallin.
We're gonna have fun. Me and you, we're gonna have fun. Hey everybody. So, I love to perform. I used to perform exclusively in front of my family and just my friends. Never outside, right? And even though I had siblings, y'all, I was a one-woman show. So in my home, if I was performing Annie, I would be Annie, Miss Hannigan, Daddy Warbucks, Sandy, baby, the dog too. If there was a stage, I wanted to be center and solo. But senior year of high school, I decided to try out for my very first production in front of real people like y'all. I was walking past the cafeteria one day and I saw an audition flyer for Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella. Or as we in the African American community like to call it, that's the black Cinderella, okay? The one with Brandy. That's the Cinderella. And, you know, I didn't need those other actors. I didn't. But I felt immediately called to audition for this show because, first of all, I look like Brandy. If you squint and turn your head to the side just a little bit. And I could sing a little bit, or at the very least, I could command a stage. And I had played that VHS tape no less than 1,000 times because Brandy made black people believe in fairy tales. I also really felt called to audition for this show because it would mean for the first time in a long time, our school's production would be diverse. Y'all know we didn't have Hamilton. So I look on this audition flyer and I was like, what are the requirements? What's going on? And the audition flyer said that the song would be Getting to Know You from The King and I. I don't know nothing about The King and I. Do y'all know The King and I? Okay, if you know it, don't act like you don't know it. If you know it, sing just like a smidge of the chorus for me. Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Getting to know you, getting to know you. Ooh, shit. But yeah, it goes something like that. It goes something like that. But y'all get it. Getting to know you. So I didn't know that. I knew the Lion King, so I went home and I was like, the King and Lion. I went home and I started rehearsing this song, feeling that little, like what y'all just did. But then I said to myself, now wait a minute. If everybody auditioning is gonna be auditioning this song, I need to do a little something different. I need to do a rendition of this song that helps the judges get to know me. You know. So I walked into the audition a couple days later, and I would say I gave them a rendition of this song that would best be described as a cross between Christina Aguilera and a Southern Black Baptist church choir. If there's a difference between those two. And so I walked into the, if y'all think I'm not gonna give you a little sample of this song, you just don't know who I am. I walked into the audition, ooh yeah, bring it down. I walked into the audition a couple of days later and I said, getting to know you, getting to know about you. Yeah. Did the full thing. The piano player was like, okay. Did that. And so a couple days later, they put the cast sheet in front of that same auditorium on my way to lunch. And I was like, oh, they put the cast sheet up. And I knew one of my friends auditioned for the show. So I was like, girl, let's go check this cast sheet together. But in my mind, I was thinking, why are these other girls checking this sheet? We know who's going to be Cinderella Jones. So me and her skipped to go check the audition sheet. It's about 4 pages long. I see my name. And I discover I had been cast as the hat lady in the village, a member of the ensemble. And my friend, she was cast as the cheese lady, and that's fine for her. But I was devastated. First off, the cast sheet was 4 pages long because everybody who had auditioned had been cast. So this was really like receiving a participation certificate. And I was crying and I was thinking to myself, damn, they saw that audition that I gave and said, godmother, no. Stepsister, no. Hat lady. Because we all remember all those fedoras Cinderella wore with her gown. But whatever. It was my first production, so I was like, you know what, first show, acting with real people, whatever. So I start going to rehearsal, and I was honestly just feeling a little, I was not feeling good about this role. It was complacent. I was unsatisfied being hat-ho in these streets. So naturally, I decided to do something about it. I went to my high school drama teacher. Her name was Harriet. You know them drama teachers, they always on a first name basis. I said, Harriet, you know, I know this is my first production, girl, but I am just bursting open with passion and talent. And this story of Cinderella means so much to me. Surely there's another something that I could do to have a bigger impact on this show. I know all the roles have already been cast, but give me something more, girl. And Harriet said, actually, Amber, there is something. Okay? She goes, you know, it's the denouement of the production of Cinderella. The grand ballroom scene. You know it well, Amber. What she does is she enters the scene at the top of that grand staircase, center stage, and that's the first time the villagers and the prince and everybody lays eyes on her. You know, I'm eating it up like I'm very familiar with the show. I watch the VHS tape every night. She said, you could be the person to put that staircase in the middle of the stage. So I now know that Harriet was giving me busy work. But at the time, I honestly heard her say center stage, and I didn't hear shit else. I was like, hey girl, I don't know what a denouement is, but I'm gonna take your denouement, and I'm gonna put a hat on it, okay, Harriet? And I proudly marched into every rehearsal the week after being like, oh, excuse me, gotta get the staircase, everybody. So we would run act one, and then Harry would say, Amber, it's intermission. And every time she said, Amber, it's intermission, it was my job to make sure this huge set piece got put in place. Now it was a big piece, so it was a big piece. So every day I was getting different friends to help me like push it in place, different people every single day, but it was ultimately my responsibility to make sure that grand staircase was in the center of the stage. It's opening night. I kill it in act one. You know, the prince is giving a ball, accessorizing everybody with hats everywhere. And then we get to intermission, and then it's the top of act two. It's that grand ballroom scene. We're all in our floor-length gowns. We're doing that waltz. And we turn to the top of the stair to see Cinderella. It was at that moment I realized I forgot to put the staircase in there. You know what tipped me off was the gaping hole in the center of the stage. You can see all backstage dust and brooms and shit. And so, you know, we're in high school, so we're all like looking at each other on stage for this uncomfortable 3 minutes like, well, what the fuck is this bitch gonna do? Unless she grows wings, the show stops right here. It's like, what is going to happen? We're actually kind of invested too. Like, what is happening? And after about 3 minutes of just silence and awkwardness, we see in the back the auditorium door open and Cinderella slowly make her way in from the audience. And she's visibly frazzled. And she doesn't even know who to blame. So she's shooting a bird in the tulle of her dress as she climbs onto the stage uncomfortably in a ball gown. And the rest of the show after that was absolutely terrible. We're high schoolers. We don't know how to recover after major mistakes are made. So the singing was off key. The blocking was bad. The choreo was missed. I had single-handedly ruined this production. And after the show, all of the actors were like, what happened? Where did we go wrong? Harriet was completely furious. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. 80% of me that day genuinely forgot to put that staircase in place. It was my first production. I got nervous. But 20% of me was still harboring some resentment that I had not been chosen in the role of Cinderella. We did the show the next night, and as you can imagine, I was stripped of my staircase duties. Harriet recast me. And you know, y'all, I learned so much from my very first production on stage, right? It's okay to get on stage and get nervous and miss your cue, and it's also okay to audition for a show your very first time and not become the lead, right? But the biggest lesson learned that day was this. If I can't be Cinderella, no one can. Thank you, everybody.
Amber Wallin, everyone.